Hi everyone. Today I wanted to do a video on my new 3DS XL and also the new 2DS XL. We'll go into a little bit of detail with each. So I'm just going to start off by opening it up and showing how we now have two screens reflecting my camera and my face. Hello. So let's turn it on. It starts off with a little splash screen saying welcome me and the Nintendo 3DS XL. You can customize that and create your own splash screen to start up with. I've got the 3D effect off because that will ruin the video. The volume maybe halfway. It takes a little bit to load up, but once it does, there. You can see my custom screen, what do you call this? Custom home screen that I set up. I made an album called Night of the Hunt, which is inspired by Bloodborne. This is actually my own original song, and I thought this was so cool when I actually did this. Every time I open up, it's my thing, and it feels really special. And yeah, this is my 3DS XL. And when I got this, I think I got this last September maybe. I got mine from eBay. Now the condition's pretty good. There's a couple of light scratches somewhere on the top, but for what I paid for this, I'm actually quite happy with what I got. I think there's a slight weirdness on the side there. I don't know what that is, but I don't really see it. The only real downside, and you're not going to notice this unless I have the screen completely white, there's a little bit of a dent in the plastic, not the actual screen, sort of like the plastic on top, and it slightly warps a pixel. It's difficult to describe, but if you have a kind of OCD kind of thing, it could start grating on you. Let me open up. So one of the first games I actually played when I got this was it Pullblox? I love Pullblox. This is such a fun puzzle game to have. So this video compared to my Vita video, the Vita had a lot of emulation and things. You can do emulation on the 3DS that's modded. You can do RetroArch and other things. But I'm not doing that with my 3DS. My 3DS is essentially a 3DS console that also plays DS games, and it also has injections as well, which I'll go into with both of these consoles, because basically I treat this one as the 3DS console, and this is more like the retro handheld console that it's sorry about the fun prints on there, but I'll show you why I might enjoy that more for like 2D games and things. If you never played Pushmo, absolutely give it a go. There's some really crafty puzzles in this game, and it's all to do with pushing and pulling blocks. I also really like this stick. So only the 3DS and 2DS have this stick. But it's really neat. I like it. It can take a little bit of getting used to. Sometimes you feel your thumb pulling away, but once you get used to it, it actually starts to grip quite nicely. Now, I personally am a very big fan of the 3D effect. Like, if I turn it on, it's going to mess the video. But I really enjoy looking at it. For me, I think a way I would describe it is it's like having a little portal into virtual reality. I'm a big fan of virtual reality. I have a Valve Index. I absolutely love it. And the effect is not too dissimilar, where when you're looking at the 3D of this screen, it's like you're looking into a small window of virtual reality, and I think that's super cool. And some games utilize this really well. This game does too. I'm not actually trying to figure out this puzzle, by the way. It's probably a bit of a hard one to figure out. Yeah, so I'm going to quit out of there. When I got this... Oh yeah, I made a mention about the screen. Okay, if you get a 3DS, whenever you close the clamshell, do it softly. If you just sort of smack it, I think that's part of the reason why you could get little plastic dents, and that will start to ruin the screen. So yeah, just be careful when you close it. And now that I've noticed it, so there's supposed to be a little it'll look like a little rubber one of these where that is, and this is a PSP stick. The original, what did they call it? The C-nub? I can't quite remember. Is horrible to use. So it's kind of sensitive. But the original, it feels really hard to move whatever you're doing with the right stick properly. Majora's Mask is a game that utilizes the second stick. And this is going to be hard to describe, but basically wherever you touch around... So I'm using a PSP stick, which works perfectly. It fits right in there. There'll be guides on how to remove the original. I basically said, F it, and I kind of like ripped it out and cut it like an umbilical cord. Just yanked it out, put this one in. And it's so weirdly intuitive. I'm barely even touching it. I'm putting hardly any pressure on it, but it's doing exactly what I want my thumb is doing. Like wherever I'm moving my thumb, it's doing it. It feels like magic. I love it. I never actually finished Majora's Mask on the 3DS. When I got this, I played Ocarina of Time again, and then I played this, and I, for some reason, stopped. Which is sacrilege, I know, because Majora's Mask is brilliant. But yeah, it works so nice. So hard to describe. And I'm not pushing in or anything. It's like my skin is just lightly touching it, and it's doing exactly what I want it to do. It sort of blows my mind that if it works this way, why did they originally put this like hard rubber thing in there that makes it even harder to use? It's crazy. So if you do get a 3DS and plan to play something like Majora's Mask, this is nearly essential. It's amazing. And it feels so good to play. Unfortunately, not a lot of games utilize the right stick, but for those that do, it's an amazing experience. Just like my the Vita video from last time, I started playing my Vita again. I was starting to really enjoy it. It's having a great time. Oh, I've been frozen. Forget him. I'm out of here. So there is how can I describe? There is a certain downside to having something like a 3DS XL. So you got these gorgeous screens, and that just reminds me that when I got this and it came in the post and opened it up, it felt like a console that came out today. It feels like something you'd still have and still play, which is incredible. The only downside is that you have these screens that are obviously a lower resolution. Something else to consider is... screw that beeping. Something else to consider is when you're buying a 3DS XL, there's something called IPS screens. And apparently this is something of a lottery where some of these 3DS they made have an IPS screen. And you can get dual IPS screens, and people charge a lot of money for these. Now, I don't see the point of having a lower IPS screen. I think... so let me try and show. Apparently, with an IPS screen, if you do this, it should still be clear to see this image. I've been told this is a top IPS screen. You can kind of see this decently well as well. So that's confusing. But it's supposed to be like... it just lights up the screen better or something. I don't know the proper terminology, but if you think that's going to be a big deal for you, then... keep your eye out for that. I really don't know if this is a good camera for testing this, but if I move Link around, apparently on a normal screen you wouldn't be able to see that screen very well. But yeah. So that's Majora's Mask 3D. The second stick works beautifully. I have a SD card inside here, you have to open up the back. There's some screws here. It's very easy to open up. Well, getting the screws off, you do have to kind of like really yank it off sometimes, but yeah, you put the SD card in the back. Kind of annoying compared to the 2DS, where you just open this right there, put your SD card in. And my 3DS has, well, a lot of 3DS games. That's the truth. Let's close that. So I've loaded my front page. I've tried to organize these games in a way that I understand. A couple of like Zelda titles up here. But you got like your main Nintendo 3DS games here on my front page. I spent longer than I care to admit organizing these games. So these are all like 3DS games I really wanted to like try out, and more casual experiences, but you got things like Zelda as well. Second page for me is like more RPGs. Monster Hunter. Oh, Paper Mario doesn't show up, but that's Paper Mario. Shin Megami. Dragon Quest. Again, a bunch of these I've not really played. And then we get onto this page, and this is where like a lot of the classic games are. I've got a lot of the classic Zeldas lined up. We're going to have a look at these on the 2DS XL because, yeah, so that's something I wanted to mention. The 3DS XL has got some weight to it, right? If you're playing like this, you can hold it quite well and it's not going to be a problem. But if you're laying in bed and you're holding it sort of above your chest for a certain amount of time, that might start digging into your fingers a little bit, and the weight will get to your wrists a little bit. I'm a strong person, and it does bother me a little bit. And if you're going to try and play something like Kid Icarus Uprising. I don't even know if the 3DS XL was out when they made this game. So they made this game for the original 3DS, which is a lot smaller. If you're holding this in midair and trying to do the stylus as well, it really starts to bother you. So I'd say keep that in mind. And again, a lot of people aren't too into the 3D effect, which is again why people will consider the 2DS XL. I also, with my other video, I forgot to mention this, accessories. So I started to try and customize things a little bit where I got like this case protector, which I really like because I like the color, I like the feel of it. Makes it feel a little bit more premium. But it does add a slight little bit more weight. I don't know if that really adds over time. But for the purpose of this video, I took it off. Oh, I hit the camera. I knew I was going to hit the camera at some point. And my 3DS, just for now, the back's clear, but I have a rubber top. A rubber top. When I got that off eBay, there was a bottom side as well, but it looked really tacky and it wouldn't fit around this bottom screen perfectly. So I tried to like cut it up to see if I could get it to just like fit around the back, but I could never get it to work, so I let it be. So yeah, going into these back pages is all just like classic games, old games. And now I've got all my homebrew stuff here. FBI will allow you to sort of install things to the SD card or from the SD card. Or yeah, you have to like put something on the SD card and then install it. But yeah, this isn't a video on how to mod or do things. This is just a little showcase. 3D theme manager. Yes, please. This is where I got my Night of the Hunt theme, but I also, put in there. Basically, there's some software for the PC, and you can customize it. It shows you like the entire 3DS screen. You can change like colors of buttons and things. You can get quite in depth if you want it to, and it's really cool. And that's so I spent a little time making the Night of the Hunt one, and just made it a little more special for me. You can port your saves from different SD cards, I think. You can also download stuff. Was that in the Universal Update? You can download... yeah, let's show this. Like, realistically, you probably just put these straight onto your SD card and install from there, but, oh, there's an update available. You can tell that I'm in a bad spot for Wi-Fi, because that's going pretty slow for me. But luckily not too slow for the video. Please reopen. Okay. Yeah? Thank you. So, a 3DS you can probably pick up a good, decent one for maybe £100-ish, $100 to $150 on eBay. I actually had a little bit of a thing where I kept looking up 3DSs on eBay because it got quite addictive, just like looking for like really good quality ones and the prices people are charging. Plus there's like auctions. I think one time I nearly auctioned for another 3DS that was really good quality. I don't know why I did it. So yeah, on here you can like download things. Flappy Bird, apparently you can just a little homebrew game stuff. This is where you'll be like wirelessly downloading things to your SD card. Linux for the 3DS, if you want that. Sonic CD. Yeah. Is that everything I have to say about the 3DS? See, I don't have as much to say about the Vita because I literally just want to treat this as a 3DS console. But what I do want to point out is if you are, putting things onto your SD card, I've got... There is a huge library of 3DS games. Star Fox 64 3D. I still haven't played this properly. And there's tons of games here. And one day when you're bored, you'll just pull this out and you have like a crazy library of amazing games that you can just play. It's fantastic. And this is why I heartily recommend getting something like the Vita and the 3DS, modding them and putting all this stuff on, because if you were going to get something like an Anbernic, you can emulate stuff, but this is the 3DS playing the games on 3DS hardware. You won't get anything else that has a dual screen setup. So if you want to play classic 3DS games, what have I got on here? Is Touch and Go a DS game? Well, it is Touch. Now I might have an issue where, oh no, an error occurred. I don't know if that's something to do with the ROM or something else, but I don't usually play anything but 3DS games on here. No, I'll show you on the 2DS. Wait, is it off? Is it off? Yeah, let's close that. Yeah, so same thing here. Games that run on the hardware, the Vita, the PS1, the PSP, and play fantastically. I think it's really worth getting them and just having them, because then you've got the original hardware there, and you may never get those again, ever, Really good thing to invest in. Okay, the 2DS XL. So this... I remember buying this out of curiosity. Got a different splash screen there. I found one that was in a decent-ish quality. For my tastes, there aren't many 2DS varieties, so I quite like black consoles, and I just like the color black. I might have to turn this down a bit. And the only one I could find I liked was black with these lime buttons, and this cover covers up some of the stuff that I don't really like looking at. Got a different splash screen here. I'm a big fan of Nier Automata. And this is very light, very pocketable. And the screen's quite nice too. And because this is so light, you can see I got the stick here as well. I have some 3DS games on here, but I decided to treat the 2DS as a retro games console. Still not emulating. These are all like classic games or injections. You know what? Let's open The Legend of Zelda 1. This might actually be a classic game. How do I register? I'll just press start. Oh no, no, oh fuck. Whatever. Is that done? Yeah, whatever. My name is 55R. The D-pad is quite clicky, but you can also use the stick. I don't mind using sticks for 2D games. So if that bothers you, I don't know. And it's a little bit lower, so you have to like push your thumb down a bit to use it. Now, what can I say about the 2DS XL? Battery seems pretty good. It's designed quite nicely, ergonomically. Sounds pretty decent. And I just personally think, if you just want to play some old games, you've got like a decently premium device here that's light, folds up. I really like clamshell design. I think Retro Game Core is also a really big fan of clamshell design. I'd like to see more of them. Yeah, heal me, bitch. Whoops. Yeah, I blame Breaking Bad for that. I recently watched all of Breaking Bad again. Tap the touchscreen to go to the Virtual Console. So yeah, this is a classic game. Let's get out of this. Let's show something like an injection. So like I said, the front screen, all my classic games. So got all the Zeldas lined up at the top here. Whenever I want to... wait, all the Zeldas are in like a top left corner. Castlevania's in the top right. Now, check this out. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. How do I describe this? It's not running in an emulator, but it's injected. So take a look at this. So I'm not opening up an emulator or fussing around. We just got Symphony of the Night running on a 2DS. Pretty cool, right? Used? What? Let's just put Alucard. Only downside to playing Symphony of the Night without being able to tweak the screen is it doesn't fill out the entire screen. When I play it on an emulator, I always stretch it out a little bit more. Huh. How do I, yeah. Oh, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to the, what is a man?
Die, monster. You don't belong in this world. It was not by my
Let's see what that looks like from the side.
I was called here by
Yeah, screen's pretty good.
Pay me tribute. Tribute? You steal men's souls and make them your slaves. Perhaps the same could be said of all religions. Your words are as empty.
I want to meet a bad guy and just have a philosophical debate before we battle to the death.
Is a man. A miserable little pile of secrets. But enough talk. How about you?
We won't get anywhere with words. So this is pretty cool, right? I think I can link in the video description a site. Or should I? There is a site where you can get all these injections. Yeah, that's Symphony of the Night running on the 2DS. Exactly the same on the 3DS, but for me, like I said, my preference is old retro games feel really good on this because it's light, good battery, yeah, solid. Let's have a look at a DS game. Where's I can't see my cursor. I don't know what DS game to look at. I do have some 3DS games on here. Actually, when I got this, I found myself playing it like half an hour before bed, just digging into some game here and there. It's just a nice way to kill time until you want to nod off. I don't know what DS game I want to put on. Like on here, I've categorized games by like groups, yeah, like the Zelda group or whatever. Whatever. Is Mr. Driller a DS game? Let's just put that on. I don't want to keep wasting time. I just noticed the battery's quite low because I didn't charge it up. So here's a DS game. There is a DS emulator. I think this is Bootstrapper, and yeah, so what's going to happen is what is the reason for this? It takes a little while to start up sometimes. I don't know if that's like a first time startup or what, but yeah, here is a classic DS game running perfectly, and you won't get this on anything else. You won't if I go play a DS game on the Odin, you might be able to squeeze the screens side by side. I do actually like that you can set up a button on the emulator to just quickly tap the screens in and out. But this looks seriously cool. Oh, I like Mr. Driller. Mission Driller. Yeah, and the touchscreen works, you know. Oh, I do like puzzle games. I'm gonna die. Mr. Driller's fun, man. I'm just going down. Using the stick as well. Let's try playing the D-pad. Yeah, that's alright. Button's got a bit of click to them, which should be good. Yeah, we made it. Yeah, so that's an example of a DS game running on here. Let's find something classic to play. I can't remember which video it was I made, but I had a... Oh, it was the Odin comparison to the DS. I had a quick look at Terranigma. Now, as a service to one of my favourite Super Nintendo games of all time, I probably should pimp this game out a little more. If you've not played this game, it is genuinely a Super Nintendo classic with one of the best soundtracks for a Super Nintendo game that you'll probably ever hear. Brilliant stuff. With amazing graphics as well. Some really cool moments in this game where, especially as a kid, this stuff used to blow my mind. You play as a guy called Ark who is... he accidentally causes a problem in his village, which causes everybody's soul to leave their body, basically. And you go on a journey to retrieve those souls, but then you realize your journey goes deeper than that, and you have to travel to Earth. And you travel Earth and the entire, like, span of civilization, from, like, plants and trees all the way up to modern civilization. It's a fantastic game. I love the art style as well. Are they going to make me go see the Elder? Yeah, Elder was calling for me. This game is part of a trio, which started off with Soul Blazer, and then Illusion of Time, also known as Illusion of Gaia in America, and then Terranigma. And they're not actual sequels, they're like spiritual sequels, but still kind of considered a trilogy. And when they did Terranigma, this was like peak Super Nintendo. Look at that. Gorgeous place. Those clouds look like rainbows, and I forget how to run. Oh, there we go. There's a button to run. And you have like the staff for a weapon you get later, and you can do like 6 or 7 different moves with it. It's kind of crazy. So yeah, a console like this is a really good way of falling in love with retro games again. The only downside to playing something like this is this bottom screen is now useless, but you can tap that and you have save states and things, because this is injected in. Yeah, it's yeah, so it's SNES 9X, but I didn't have to open an emulator to do it. This is just in terms of a Vita, this is just a bubble on the home screen, and you just go in and boom, your game's working, which is fantastic. You can change around some buttons, volume. Yeah, super cool. Uh-oh. Quick, shut it down. It's gonna blow. So what else have we got on here? Dude, Chrono Trigger DS. I have no idea now what is the best version of Chrono Trigger to play. But I personally haven't played the DS version of Chrono Trigger, so that's kind of exciting, actually. I'm sure one day I will play it again. I've played it several times. I'm a big Chrono Trigger fan. Movie clip. Oh, does this have the cinematics? It does. I was recently just telling someone that a game like Chrono Trigger, you start it up and you like the music, you know that's Chrono Trigger. No other game sounds like Chrono Trigger, even though it's like orchestral music and stuff. And I try and sort of emphasize that some games these days, you start them and they just sound a lot like other games. And I really wish a lot more games had really more unique soundtracks. Anyway, let's start this up. Look at it. Both screens. That's the DS. DS mode classic? What? DS mode utilizes dual screen display and stylus input. Battle mode? Oh, active. Movies? On? I haven't actually ever played a version of Chrono Trigger with the movies. Clean and uncluttered. Oh, you love to hear it, don't you? Yeah, my name's Chrono. Dude, that looks sexy. I do have a... Well, I used to have an original Nintendo DS. If you ever pick up one of those again, they are chunky. They are mad chunky. And my original one, I think my sister eventually had it. She like scratched it and sad. It's a sad state of affairs. And I never owned a DS Lite or anything like that, but I've seen videos of people saying a DS Lite is very much worth having today. And I can see why. Oh, the font's different from the SNES version. It's sort of sleeker. So if you only wanted to play classic DS games, a DS Lite modded might... Can you mod one? Might actually be worth having. But I mean, for me, a 2DS XL is a big screen, well designed, and jump into 3DS, 2DS, injected games and so on. I love a device that is a bang for your buck package. And of course we're like talking about modding and stuff, so... But even the 2DS originally as it was is a fantastic deal. How do you walk? Do I hold the button in? Dude, this is... I'm going to use the stick because it's quieter. Ah, look, he moves around on the map at the bottom as well. Luca, you diamond. Turn that shit up. Oh, you can't go over the bridge, can you? Oh, you can! Dude, that map looks awesome. Can we go see, what's his name? It starts with a T. No? Oh. But yeah, you see how I'm just getting a little bit excited playing like a classic game on a handheld. I can take this here, I can take this there. Sorry, I'm so dumb sometimes. Which residence is that? The mayor. I don't want to see the mayor. I can't believe this game also has as many endings as it does. Can we go to the fair without Luca? No, wait, I'm not playing this. We're not playing this. I'm doing a video on the 2DS. Back to the home screen. So in comparison to the 3DS, I could have actually got both of those games running at the same time. Is there a game I could get both running at the same time? Maybe a DS game. I don't know. There's really no reason to do so. I mean, look, you can see the screens together. Same similar screen size. It's just the 2DS is a bit sleeker. I can already feel on my right hand the weight of the 3DS. I can feel the pull of it, and over time I'll eventually want to just like not hold this thing. Whereas this I can hold forever. It's just so light. Look, forefinger and thumb, just light as hell. Whereas this forefinger and thumb, I feel like I don't want to do that as long. That's some people weigh these devices, whereas I do the forefinger and thumb test. Wow. Do I really have anything else to say about these devices? I used to have more accessories. I used to have grips. I used to have a grip for the 3DS, so you hold it like a controller. But over time, there are these clips that like hooked in somewhere around here, and they were very tiny clips, and eventually they just broke. So it wouldn't even stay in the grip anymore. So I don't know if I can recommend a grip. Also, the hunt for accessories these days on eBay, I had to do a lot of hunting to get some of the grips I wanted, and even the covers and stuff. And this is what I settled on. I may actually still use these for the 3DS, but I don't know. It looks, looks pretty good as is. Oh yeah, and the cameras work too if you want to use the camera for some reason. But what's the point? So let's get all these devices together. I wish I had the battery for the Slim. So these are like side-by-side comparisons. The Slims and the original versions. Sorry, I was still playing some Tetris on my Vita. Yeah, man, I totally recommend owning a Vita and a 3DS. Wait, what? No, I want to... I've confused myself. There you go. Yeah, totally recommend owning at least one of each of these. If I had to say which, I'd say the PS Vita 1000 with the OLED screen and the Nintendo 2DS. Unless you really want the 3D effect for 3D games. And the only reason I'm not recommending the Slim is because I actually really like the Vita screen. And then here comes Daddy, the daddy of them all. So that's really all I have to say about the God, I'm messing up the camera. About the 2DS and the 3DS. But I hope that's a nice little overview about how I have modified and personally used my 3DS and 2DS. Do I still use them? Not really, but when I did, I got enough fun out of them for what I wanted. I played a bunch of 3DS games, I played a bunch of classic games. In the future, I definitely can see myself playing classic games on the 2DS. If I ever have an inkling to play some 3DS games again, I might play the 3DS, but you know, the Odin has a good 3DS emulator. Hang on a sec. It's really weird playing with different devices because they all have buttons all in everywhere. Citra got an update recently. So yeah, I wouldn't mind playing 3DS games the way they play on the Odin, because it does look pretty sharp. You've got a higher quality screen, whereas I don't know if I can really show it on the 3DS. No, I don't know if I can show it. But because we're so much more used to high quality screens... Sorry about the start of this game, for some reason it's a bit glitchy, but once you start actually playing the game, it's fine. Unless I did download a new version of this emulator, maybe I need to configure it again. I may actually need to configure it a little bit again. The newest version of Citra is meant to fix a bunch of bugs, but I probably have to tweak the settings just a tad. Anyway, for me, a game like this, as long as it's running smooth, the quality of the screen is a lot nicer than that one, so... But if I was desperate for the 3D effect, I would start the game on here, but I don't have a save file, so I'm not going to do that. Anyway, I am rambling a little bit, so this video is like pointlessly going on. Thanks for watching. The 2DS is about to die. I need to charge that thing up. I don't really know if I have more ideas for videos soon, but there was a lot of views for the Vita one, which surprised me. A lot of people looking for Vitas. So maybe I can think of another reason to do a Vita video, but, you know, we'll see. Thank you very much for watching. This is my video showcasing the 2DS and 3DS. So take it easy. Have a good one. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.